I've got the looks that drives to go wild. I've got the moves that really move them. I said chill, up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy.
One of the best songs they have.
Oh, yeah. Top 10.
Yeah,
Easy.
I think so.
Top 10 easy.
Beautiful choice. Though.
And for those of you who don't know why we're opening with HBK's music, it looks like HBK is a little has a little change of heart because he's been very adamant about no more matches, and now he did an interview where he's open to one more match, and he's mentioned names like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and even NXT. So like Gargano, and I mean, it could be
Adam
very
Cole.
interesting. Oh,
HBK Adam Cole. Come on, that's like
huge.
That's like Shawn Michaels facing younger Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, no, that's very true. But he did.
Yeah,
make
Dolph.
a point.
Somewhere Dolph Ziggler's crying because he wanted to be
point. He did make a point to say that this is got to be the right. You know, everything's got to be right, but it can't be one of those drawn out like one and done. Like it's not going to be. And I'm also hearing it would most likely be some kind of tag match. And he even said, you know, people have to understand this is not going to be the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania. You know, this.
Right.
I think he's still aiming for that, though.
He'll do something because I feel like he would pull, of all the people that would pull it out and do something really cool with that moment, it would be like when Ricky Steamboat had that WrestleMania. Well, it wasn't the only one. It was him and Snuka and Piper against Jericho. But that's what I imagine HBK performing now would be like. You're gonna watch him go, wow, he hasn't lost a step. He's still as good as he once was. You know, I think he's got one more left in the tank, but
I think he'll still put on one hell of a fucking performance, but I do think he's going to be, you know, he's going to be a little slow. I mean, it's not going to be.
Do you think he would attempt the
moonsault all the way? 100%.
I think so. Moonsault, elbow drop, all the classics.
But I would even say that he would do the turnbuckle move too.
Ooh, the old flare bump over the deal. Ah, wow.
Oh yeah.
It would be interesting and a nice little nod if he did if it was a tag team match and he did the rocker dropper.
Yes.
If it's your last match, you got to hit the rocker dropper.
I'm not opposed to that.
Be nice. No, I have no updates on Marty Jannetty's foot, but whatever the fuck it happened, Jesus Christ, I still gives me nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was crazy.
So we've got a lot that happened even just today, because that Shawn Michaels thing came out today, right?
That Shawn Michaels thing came out today, and something else very big happened today with one CM Punk.
Free at last.
So it looks like, but this opens up a lot of questions too, because, Eric was asking a lot of questions about this earlier in the chat, and unfortunately he's having the same issue with his computer, which is why he's not on, but I'm sure he's listening. But he even brought up, a lot of questions, valid questions, like, was that a big driving factor into why he left WWE? And I definitely think it was definitely it was definitely in there as part of the reason. I don't think that was the whole reason. I mean, the guy was burnt out and he didn't feel that he was getting his just being, in the main event. And I mean, listen, we can go on. Everyone knows the story, but I don't know. Will this, now that this is finally over, ignite something in him to want to get back into the wrestling business? Will he really be a part of All for One? Will that eventually lead to a potential return to WWE at some point? People say, is that door even a possibility of it being over based on how the verdict went? But I also always say, you never say never. I mean, look at Bret Hart. This is a guy that wrote WCW in the air on WWE television. I mean, you know, and punched McMahon in the face. So, you know, anything can happen, but it does, you know, and I also think a lot of him ever considering getting back in the wrestling ring, I think a lot of that will also be contingent on how his fight goes this weekend. Because even Dana White said if he loses this match, I mean, that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. It was always a little bit of a pipe dream because of all the guys you'd think would take up MMA. You really wouldn't think Punk out of the WWE roster.
No,
but
money.
But it was something that it was a goal he set for himself that he wanted to accomplish, and he did. And
he's got balls. I mean, he
definitely does, because I don't think I'd do it.
Yeah,
I've been to MMA shows. Like, when you get there, it's a different vibe than wrestling shows because the paramedics that are there are ready to help somebody. There's like a tension in the air where it's like, this shit's about to get real, and
someone's gonna get their face
right. They could potentially become very seriously injured. It's amazing that he even did it at his age, and considering he only really took it up 6 months before he fought, or a year before he fought. It's crazy. It's something that only CM Punk would do because he's the only one that has that mindset, and I can't fault him for that because he's got a good attitude. He's a beast. When he's committed to something and he believes in it, it shows. Like, he committed to the MMA thing. He commits to the comic book writing now. When he was wrestling, he committed to it, and he was the best in the world at it. So if he's rejuvenated by this, because I was reading the Twitter feeds of the reporters that were there. When they read the verdict, Punk and AJ were crying and they hugged, and then AJ went over and hugged Colt Cabana. It was a whole thing because they were being tried separately. They were being tried concurrently, but each defendant, Punk and Colt, were being tried separately because Punk was the one that issued the statements, and then the argument of the plaintiffs' attorneys were that Colt was the distributor of the statements and was therefore liable for the words of the person he brought on the show. It was all very almost frivolous. I don't want to say frivolous because I guess he kind of had a reason. He wanted the whole thing is he didn't show any proof. The burden of proof is on him to show damages. He kept his job. The defense argued very well that he kept his job. He didn't receive any punishments. He wasn't, like physically assaulted. He didn't have any psychological problems. He didn't seek treatment for psychological problems. He didn't have trouble sleeping or anxiety, etc. Things like that. So they laid it out pretty clear as to why there were no actual damage aside from his fucking feelings got hurt and get over it. And that's pretty much what the jury said was, yeah, your feelings got hurt. Like if he got fired, absolutely, I think that he could sue Punk. But he didn't get fired.
Right.
And nothing really happened to him aside from a couple people brought signs to Raw, or she says, I can't even post a picture of my father on Instagram without getting Z-Pack references. Well, I mean, dude, I don't know what to tell you. They brought it. I don't know if you read this stuff. It cracked me up.
But you know what? If that's the worst thing that happens to you, that you post a picture of your dad and somebody makes a Z-Pack reference, like seriously, get the fuck over it or delete Twitter.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Like one of the things they started reading, it was almost like Jimmy Kimmel. They started reading mean tweets as part of their closing arguments. The plaintiff, Dr. Rahman's attorney, he read a Twitter quote from a guy whose name was Mike Literis. Are you serious? Like, come on, bro. Like, you're going to lose that case.
In the courtroom.
In the courtroom. And then the defense was great. And they said, we only saw this tweet from Mike Literis. We have no idea if his opinion before Punk's statement was changed after Punk's statement. We only saw the one statement. Like, they were kind of cracking at how ridiculous it is, while also showing, hey, we can't see any evidence that the public at large had a certain viewpoint of you that changed as of that podcast. So
it's hard to prove.
They couldn't prove it. Right, and unless like somebody came up and punched him in the face or threw a pie at him, or they showered him with Z-Packs as he came down to the ring, like that I could see if he's getting taunted like that. But I mean, come on. If we could sue people for mean tweets, I'd be a goddamn millionaire, but I'd also probably have the fucking pantsuit off me. So I'd just be in a continuous plaintiff and defense alternating between me suing people and them suing me for the mean things we said on Twitter. It's all ridiculous, and that's why they threw it out. I'm glad. And Colt Cabana has a new shirt out, which is what I'm screen sharing.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Scot-free. He should wrestle as Scot-free for a little while. I bet he's going to do it.
He probably will.
Scot-free Colt Cabana.
Scot-free. I'm glad this is settled. It was silly from the beginning. Punk had a story to tell, and he told it. And whether he embellished it as a wrestler would do, or as anybody would do when you're telling a story. Because they try to say, like, he alternated between the lump on his back was the size of a quarter, then it was the size of a golf ball, was the size of a baseball, and then they brought a golf ball and a baseball into the court to try and show the difference in sizes. It's like, doesn't matter. He had a fucking lump on his back.
Yeah.
It's so silly. So I'm glad it's settled because there's no reason to drag this through the courts anymore. That it was already, they spent like 5 days on it. That's 5 days too many. I do hope this is some sort of healing process for Punk, that maybe this is kind of a catharsis for him. Like the last beast he had to slay of his like bad memories of the WWE, so he can fully put it behind him. Because regardless of whether or not he goes back to the WWE, that's if it happens, it happens. But for him to be in a place where he was so committed to wrestling, and then he even admits in this trial he lost his love for wrestling because of injuries and the booking, and everything just sort of added up and compounded each other at the same time and made it worse. So he lost his passion for it, and he seemed disappointed that he lost his passion. So maybe this is an opportunity for him to, after this UFC fight this weekend, win or lose, show up at All In, do something, say that you're back in the game, because I can't think of anything more I'd want to hear than CM Punk saying he's all in and he wants to continue this, because I think that would be the draw for All In 2. If Punk comes out at the end and he goes, Cody, I'm challenging you for the NWA title, if Cody beats Nick Aldis, and then there you go, 6 months down the line or a year, whatever it is, NWA title, Punk, Cody, main event, and then have it sells itself. It sells itself.
I agree.
And then what if Daniel Bryan doesn't renew his contract, and then they get him for the show?
Not
for the first All In, for All In 2.
I gotta be honest. I really don't see Daniel Bryan not renewing his contract.
I heard he's asking for more creative control for his character. That's one of his bargaining points. Possibly. I mean, I feel like they've already kind of have, because he wanted to use the knee bar as his finisher, and they wanted him to use the yes lock, so he went with the yes lock. Now he's using the knee bar. So maybe he is getting a little more control. I don't know.
You know what? Daniel's one of them that I feel like if somebody would get more control, you know what I'm saying, he'd be one of the guys that they'd give it to. I mean, he's not a rook, he's a vet in this business, and
right. But yeah, it's an interesting thing that he would bring that up, and it's not about the money, because he's got plenty of money at this point. It's protecting his character, because I mean, I know he got injured and he had to relinquish the belt, but they really, him and Seth Rollins both got booked real shitty during their title reigns. First time out.
Yes.
They both had to wrestle Kane a billion times, and it was just all very silly. Kane showed up in their limo like Jason or Freddy, and then they did like the horror movie look out, look up, like and ran out of the car like it was goddamn Scooby-Doo. So yeah, I think he sees that and uses that as, I don't want that a repeat of this circumstance. So I see what he's saying. It'll be interesting if they give it to him, how much they give to him, and if he stays. I mean, that's still a thing. he wrestled at WrestleMania. He's been wrestling on SmackDown rather the whole time. I almost said Raw. Right, he's wrestling now, but that doesn't mean he hasn't signed, right? There's nothing that says he's re-signed. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything about it.
And supposedly it was around the time of All In. Like it was September or October that his contract is up.
Yeah, it's possible.
We'll see. It's a question mark because I would assume he wants to be part of the main event scene.
Yeah.
And is there space for him right now? Who do you move down out of the way to make room for him? And is he there yet? Because I feel like he's wrestling and he's doing okay. There's watching it with a critical eye and just the experience of watching people work. He's definitely lost a step, and obviously he hasn't wrestled in a couple of years, but he's lost a step. Some things are changed. The mechanics, that drop kick he does in the corner is changed now. He kind of does a Bret Hart and grabs the ropes on his way down. Obviously it's to protect himself, but I'm saying they're just little differences where it's like when they make the next model year of a car and you test drove one and then you test drove another, you're like, oh, this is a little – I got to get used to this.
He's probably trying to get used to it as well,
right, like his different style. Because I mean, he can't be jumping and diving and all that. And I know he's doing it, and I just can't. I can't watch. When he dives or jumps or does. I'm picturing some fucking Draws situation where we got to cut to commercial, and then Daniel Bryan is out there in the goddamn thing with the I'm very appreciative. Yes. Like he's in a goddamn wheelchair pushing the button with his finger or his tongue or something. That's the one thing I don't want to happen. Yeah, but I understand, that's why he's got to modify his style, and then it's going to take a little getting used to. So I think here's the thing, if he sticks around, it's a ring rust thing. It's I'm saying 6 months, a year, whatever it is. He's got to, and he might realize this and why he's asking for creative control. He has to stay consistent enough for a long enough period of time, almost to like prove himself again or reprove himself or show like he's him. So I think sticking around, he's got to look long term. He can't just look, I want the booking to be this way at SummerSlam or whatever. He's got to look at next year's SummerSlam. He's got to be like, okay, this is my goal for next year. Let's get there and see if he can get the creative push behind him for that. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, because I feel that's the only big name that has any kind of contract that anybody even talks about, because you don't even hear about Seth Rollins leaving. You'll never hear about Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns isn't going to leave. So he's really the only guy that's ever a question, or maybe Dolph Ziggler. Sometimes people are like, oh, what's he going to do? And he just always resigns.
They offer more money and he resigns.
Well, I mean, and now they're doing great things with him and McIntyre, so I don't think.
But that's all for
he's giving McIntyre.
He's giving McIntyre the old boost. Yeah, not a bad thing, but I mean, I guess he's probably settled into that role where he knows he's the fucking mid card guy, like a modern day Billy Gunn.
Which really sucks because the crowd response when he cashed in that Money in the Bank and won the title. I mean,
you can think, who is it? Was it Jack Swagger or Alberto Del Rio for concussing him?
I think it was Alberto, if I remember correctly.
Filthy Perro gave him the concussion.
And then the next match he wrestled in, they did like 20 kicks to the head.
To really hit it home, like, hey, this guy's got a brain injury. Wah, wah. Oh.
So listen, I want to switch gears for a minute.
Yes.
And I want to talk about SmackDown real quick from last week. And I know it's kind of long ago, but I didn't watch it until today, so it's a little fresh. And I got to tell you, if you haven't seen SmackDown, go back and watch the 6-man tag with The New Day versus The Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro. It was one of the best 6-man tags I've seen in a very long time. And The New Day, it just reiterates how good they are. I mean, it was just a really well-done match. I love what they're doing with Shinsuke. They're doing Shinsuke AJ again and again and again, and I'm not getting bored, probably because we haven't had a real good payoff yet, but we'll get it this time because now it's last man standing. So,
right.
They can do as many nut shots as they want. Nobody's getting DQ'd.
As long as it's not a double dick kick count out again.
Oh,
Could you imagine? But
the whole dick kick at AJ Styles has a cup.
If it took him 3 months to put a cup on, that'll still be silly.
Yeah.
Like, he should have already learned his lesson after, like, what, time 2?
Yeah, true. And I got to tell you, too, I'm very impressed with Paige. Paige has settled in very nicely as the GM. She's doing a really great job. Just everything about her, the way she presents herself, not so much, what she says and does, because, of course, it's all scripted. But, she settled in really well. Like, she's taking it over.
And there's a contract signing tonight, right?
Yes, there is. And
this will be her first contract signing.
It's Shinsuke and AJ.
And I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
No, they never do.
It will go swimmingly, I'm sure. Everybody will sign their documents, and then the notary will come in and stamp it, and then we'll just move on.
We'll shake hands.
Yeah, just shake hands like gentlemen and continue on with our day, right?
I just hope Paige gets out of the way in time.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, you don't want anything happening to her, but yeah, she's been doing a good job. And back to the New Day, remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about the theory that Big E was going to get split off and receive a big push as a singles competitor. Yeah. I still think, and I think I brought it up that week too, there's money in the New Day being the support system to champion Big E.
Right.
If they're tag champs and he's heavyweight champ, or he's heavyweight champ and somebody like Jinder tries to challenge him and he's got his little Singh Brothers, and I know there aren't different brands, but follow me. If somebody has a manager, then the New Day can neutralize that.
No, but Vince, you're exactly right, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, if they're going to push Big E as a singles, they're going to split up the New Day.
And they shouldn't.
They don't have to, though. That's what your point is, and I agree with you, because you don't have to split them up. You can still push Big E and keep them together, and it would be great. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they're brothers. I mean, listen, jealousy could, they could start off, behind him, and then jealousy could start to set in, or, there's things you could do, but for now, you don't have to split them up. And you're right, it would be a mistake.
They just push merch like nobody else. What was that, Ryan?
I said I still would love to see him freebird it.
Oh, the WWE title? That would be interesting. I don't know if they would.
I don't know that they would do that.
Oh, I don't think they would.
It would be really silly, but I could picture them, all three of them, run out at whatever time the champion's knocked down, blah, blah, blah. All three of them run down together. They all have a hand on the briefcase and hand it to the referee. And then all three of them like dogpile on AJ. And the referee counts the 3, and they all hold it up, and they're like confused as to who wears it or how they do it.
I was thinking they just random, like every so often, one of them would pop up. They'd play a little cup game with the briefcase. They'd have 3 briefcases. One of them's the real one.
This is so elaborate. That's wonderful.
And when they fake it out, referee opens it, and you can put whatever in there.
Oh, what if they had an unsuccessful cash-in, and they open it up to find out there's nothing but pancakes in the briefcase?
That's funny.
Like Big E goes to cash in. He gets pinned or DQ'd or whatever, and then he goes, wait, open the briefcase, and there's no contract. It's just full of fucking pancakes.
What about coal mine?
The old coal mine of the glove, baby.
But yeah, but SmackDown is definitely been on point lately.
Yeah, I feel like Raw. I don't know. I was watching the Yankees were on, and the Stanley Cup was on, so I was watching both of those. And only caught like a little bit of Raw towards the end. Didn't really seem like I missed anything, though.
Raw wasn't bad. I actually thought Raw was pretty good. The worst part of Raw was the Bobby Lashley segment. And
they had another one of those?
They did. And it's, you know what? It's not so much. I mean, Bobby needs a mouthpiece. He's never been strong on the mic. And it's not that it's just the way he sounds. Like, it just doesn't – it's like Tyson. Like, it doesn't fit the body.
His voice doesn't match his body.
Right. And I think he needs that mouthpiece, because he's great in the ring. And I just don't fucking understand. He gets no crowd reaction. Did Teddy Long
ever manage him?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like that would work. Follow me. If you're talking about Mike Tyson, make Teddy Long his Don King. and he's just over the top, and he's like, fucking Bobby Lashley is vicious, and he's delicious, and he's with this, and he's bound to win this title, and just do this like whole fucking stupid Don King rap that Don King used to do, and then he just goes, "I'm gonna eat your children." You know, he just keep it simple. When Mike went out there, he didn't put too much thought into it. He said, "I'm precocious," and I know, you know, he just did this little like goofy stuff, and he doesn't. They give him sentences when they need to give him phrases or combinations of less than 4 words. He doesn't need to go out there and give a goddamn Shakespearean monologue or soliloquy. He just needs to go out there and be like, "Sami Zayn, I'm gonna whoop your ass," and then flex his goddamn giant muscle that's bigger than all of Sami Zayn's body. Like it's real simple. They're fucking up a guy that you shouldn't be able to fuck up. He looks like you just pulled him off a cardboard from a Toys R Us. He's a goddamn real life action figure. Just put him out there. People like him.
They just need to copy his TNA run.
That's it. Just bring that back. The guy from American Top Team, and have him cut the promos because he was great.
Or just have him not talk.
Or just have him not. Sami Zayn kicks him in the throat and he can't talk.
No, just have it when Sami Zayn's doing this bullshit. Just have him go over, put the microphone down Sami Zayn's throat. Be done with it.
I mean, that's just it. He just has to destroy people. He doesn't have to talk.
Yeah, I feel like he just should walk up to Sami Zayn and put his hand over the microphone, like completely, and just slowly bring it down, you know, so it's out of view, and then just shake his head no, and just clothesline the shit out of him. Like, that's all you need.
And I got to be honest, too, I still don't understand. Bobby Lashley gets no fucking crowd reaction when his music hits and he comes out. None. And I don't get it.
What is the music? Is it any good?
No. I don't know
that might be a problem,
I don't know why
too.
They ever changed it. Like, he should have kept his old music.
Dominator or whatever it was, right? That was a good song for him, I think. I haven't heard it in years, but
like, even if like the music sucks when he comes out, you would think like he'd get a pop. Like, he gets no, in my opinion, he gets no pop.
Because he skipped a generation in WWE. That he was away for 10 years. A lot of people stopped watching, and a lot of new people started watching, and a lot of them are kids, and they're not going to go back and watch ECW. WWE's ECW on the WWE network. Right, nobody wants to even remember that show existed, even though that's where Bobby Lashley had his best run, arguably, against ECW champion Vince McMahon. Remember? So, and he got a WrestleMania main event, quote unquote, out of it with Trump
against the dead guy. With
that guy Umaga, the dead man Umaga. Bong.
So we have to address another Nia Ronda segment on Raw.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I read that, and it didn't sound interesting at all.
It definitely doesn't make me any more excited for this match. You know, and it sucks because I'm excited to see Ronda get in the ring. I'm just having we've talked about this ad nauseum, but. It's just, first of all, Nia's heel, but not. It's still kind of in the middle, which is stupid.
A little bit.
You know, like she injured Natalya in the match, and she was like really actually like showing concern because she never like attacked. Like, I was waiting for her to attack Ronda, and it just never happened. It was just a very weird segment.
I was waiting for that as well.
Right?
I mean,
slide, look over, then clothesline.
Well, there was that.
How close are
Ronda was hovered over Natalya with her back to Nia, and Nia, you know, like that was the perfect opportunity for her to like grab her by the back of the hair and you know, give her the Samoan drop or something.
Yeah, how close are we to the
2 weeks?
2 weeks? Okay, so I guess
2 weeks, and I'm not even going to be able to watch it live.
Is it one more Raw? So we have one more Raw? Okay, it'll happen then. She's got it. Nia has to get some kind of heat on Ronda between now and then, or this shit's going to be goddamn lopsided. Not that it's not going to be anyway, but give it some mystery. If there's no big Samoan drop, puts her through a table, whatever the fuck it is, the match isn't going to have any heat because you're saying, well, this is a fresh UFC fighter versus Nia Jax. This match is going to go 30 seconds. So there needs to be some intrigue added by next week.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
What if Natty somehow pulls out the Money in the Bank and cashes in on...
Oh, Jesus. You know, I wouldn't put it past him, and it might not be a bad idea because they might understand that everybody already thinks that Ronda shouldn't be in the WWE title picture, women's championship picture right now, and they might agree. They're like, hey, how about this? We're going to give Ronda her first WWE title win, and then her first loss, and first title loss, all within the span of 5 minutes, and just get it all out of the way.
Like you do have
the old Roman Reigns Sheamus deal, or whatever.
Win. Then Natty comes out to celebrate her title win and
blindsides her, yeah.
Yeah, but can you see them doing that to Ronda? Like,
yeah.
I mean, this is Ronda Rousey we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm so in the middle on this match.
They could play it up like the wily veteran Natalya knew what to do in the situation, and it's, you know, an inexperienced thing, and then build to a title match between them at SummerSlam. But is Natty? I guess Natty versus Ronda would be a good match, but is it SummerSlam? Is that a SummerSlam match?
It could be, and let me tell you, it would be a good match because Natalya's the one that's been training with Ronda too. So, you know, that would probably be the best match so far. It would give.
We should really take notes about
Natalya will make Ronda look great.
Right. We should take notes about what we say on these shows, and then see if any of them ever come true. Because I feel like we've got on top of a couple things. And like predicted them way out and made them like weird predictions that came true. I feel like maybe this weird Ronda Natalya Money in the Bank situation, if it comes to fruition, we can be like, hey, look, we called it like 2 weeks ago. It'll be interesting to see what the finish of the match is, and then if it has any effect on Money in the Bank, unless they just do like some kind of, I don't know. Are they still going to try and set up Charlotte against Ronda while they're on different brands? I don't know.
I mean, I could see that match being a Mania match.
That's definitely a WrestleMania match. That's
a Mania match.
I saw, and I forget the whole list, but there was a supposed leaked list of potential WrestleMania matches for next year, and Ronda Charlotte is right there.
Well, listen, what they could do is have Ronda win the Women's Royal Rumble match, and then her choose to go after Charlotte's.
Ooh, yeah.
Assuming Charlotte's got the title by then, and I'm sure she'll go into Mania as champion.
Be a good choice.
It would be, and I feel like there would be room for another women's singles match on the card that would be good. Like,
where would you put Asuka?
I was just thinking that Asuka should wrestle another big name. Asuka could wrestle Ember, though they always had good matches. They could bring back Asuka could wrestle fucking Trish. Or, you know what I mean? Do a surprise comeback and do like a celebrity match like that.
That'd be fun.
Or they're signing a bunch of other girls from Japan. The WWE there was Io Shirai, and I'm probably butchering that name, but she was going to sign from the last Mae Young Classic, but failed the physical. She had some neck problems, but she took time off and rehabbed, and she's healthy now, and assuming she passes the physicals now, she's going to be in the next class of NXT trainees with Keith Lee and some other people. So it could be that they take maybe, or like Toni Storm, I think she got signed. They could take any of those Mae Young Classic girls from the Indies who's worked like 10 years and is a pro and build her up over the next year. I don't know. There's
What about the Empress of Tomorrow versus the Pirate Queen?
That would be fantastic.
That has a nice ring to it.
I mean, I'm sure they've wrestled before a billion times in Japan, but I don't know that for certain. But I would assume they probably ran in the same circles. But damn, that would be a WrestleMania match. That would absolutely be a WrestleMania match. I love the pirate thing too, and I know they play up. Well, she loves yachting. Make her a pirate. Just say she's a goddamn pirate. It's a TV show. She's a pirate. Yar. Fuck. She can't say R. Or is she good at saying R? What letter can't Asian people pronounce?
R.
L? R? Is it R? She's the worst pirate ever, but I'm into it. I love the wheel. She has the fucking wheel. She comes out with the wheel. How do you? Oh,
The whole yachting is just.
but she is legitimately. She's on the world tour for yachting. She's a professional yachter.
Because that's more of a snobby thing, yachting.
Yeah, that's like a heel thing. Pirate is like kind of a cool thing for babyface.
Though
She
Pirate,
does see a lot of potential,
Birch.
Yeah, Pirate Paul Burchill.
Yeah,
He got a
I
fucking
almost said Virgil.
Virgil. Charge you $10 for an autograph, son.
Come out, take a picture with her. That's $20.
Yes. I want somebody to have that gimmick now. They have like a Polaroid, and they sneak up on somebody and take a picture, and then autograph it and give it to them. Demand
the selfie with the stick.
Demand $10 from them. Yes. Yeah. So there's potential. This women's division is pretty wide open. They've got a good roster, pretty good roster on the main roster, and then NXT's got a lot of potential, and then the new signees for the Mae Young Classic for this year. We're going to have a lot of potential. They've got like Dakota Kai down in NXT now. She came back from injury. And I still like Nikki Cross. She's great.
Then we still have Sasha Banks, Bailey.
Right, yeah, we forget. And then we're downplaying the main roster, Sasha Banks and Bailey and all those guys. I mean, fucking Asuka Sasha would be a WrestleMania main event, or Asuka Bailey, or how about we just fucking finally do Bailey Sasha like they should have done 6 months ago.
And they continued last night with the whole Bailey DQ.
Is this just like a Mean Girls thing where they're frenemies, like they hate each other and they like each other? And it's just like, oh, those crazy women, you know how they are flip-flops and they're psycho and they are one mood 1 minute and one mood the next. You know, it's like, come on. They just keep doing this forever.
Hugged it out, and then they did the whole DQ thing. So they got on each other's shit list again.
I just, at this point, I don't care because they're not picking a direction. They literally big showed this entire feud. They just flip-flopped it to death.
They are doing a good job of that.
We almost had it at WrestleMania. Almost had it. And then they're like, no, we're just kidding. Naomi's going to come in and do some bullshit and win the match.
That was such a dumb ending. It's still...
That was confusing because
yeah,
I mean, you knew that you kind of knew that she was still involved, but you didn't think that she was going to win because you figured. Sasha
I didn't think she was involved. I lost track of her.
I might have lost track of her too, but I'm saying like
everybody at my party, like.
But we were all confused. Like in the audience, there was it was confusion. You just kind of looked at the person next to you, even if you didn't know them. You were like, that just happened, huh? Oh, all right.
Well, that was it.
Yeah, it was that was it. That was it, huh? All right. So,
and they didn't do anything with it.
No, they went nowhere.
At least with Bailey,
she didn't even get a title shot for winning the fucking Rumble match or whatever. She didn't even win a trophy. Oh, she won the Ovary Trophy. She won the Ovary Trophy.
Did they? They didn't even use that. It's been nowhere. But it's a good thing since it's the.
Oh yeah, since it looked like ovaries. But I wonder if they'll ever spin off a women's show. Did you know that Smackdown, before it was developed into Smackdown, was being pitched to UPN as an all women's WWF show?
Really?
Yeah, like 98, 99 before it came out. That was. The initial pitch was it was an all women's show. I've been reading some old, like somebody does Wrestling Observer recaps on Reddit, and they're from they did the whole Monday Night War era. So I've been reading these little snippets, and it's interesting to think that they had that idea so long ago when I guess they had a boom of women then. This was kind of before Trish and Lita, though. It was 99, 98, 99, so it really would have been like a fucking Sable show. But that was the draw at the time. Sable was huge. Sable was bigger than a lot of the male stars. So I could see how that would have worked. So, but now, with the way that the content from the WWE seems to be in demand because it's a live sporting event, quote unquote, that people it's live entertainment that people tune in for. And they've done studies to show that when it comes to live events, people will tune in live more than they will DVR it. They'll be more prone to watch it live than they would to just kind of hit record, even though that's what I do every week. I hit record and fast forward.
I gotta admit, it does take away some of the lore if it's live to go back and DVR and watch.
Yeah, there's something about watching it live, because even if you watch it taped, you kind of know what happens or somebody spoiled it for you. It's not as good. So I understand, but think about this: they have a situation now. They got fucking $500 million from NBC for Raw, and then another fucking $500 million or whatever it was, or $1 billion from Fox for Raw, and then NBC got, or SmackDown rather, and they have other programs that are available for these networks, whether it's Facebook, the Facebook Watch thing, YouTube TV, some kind of over-the-top streaming. You know, any number of these channels could pick up a 205 or an NXT. They're talking about NXT potentially being picked up by some network, whether it's a streaming network or whether it's a broadcast network. And you could have a women's show. You could definitely put a women's wrestling show on that's all women on, like, what, E? The same channel that the Total Everything is on?
Yeah.
Because you can kind of tie it in.
Camp WWE more than 5 episodes.
Yeah, Camp WWE seemed... I haven't watched it yet, but it seems interesting. I give it a second season.
I watched all second season, and that was maybe 5 episodes.
Wow. That's another thing about the network is I wish there was more original programming. And I know they're filming another Edge and Christian show season, which is great, but they stopped doing Swerved.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the camera guys sued the Big Show or sued Mark Henry. Somebody got sued.
Oh, yeah. I can understand why that got
but I mean, that was fun. It was fucking Jackass or the Wild Boys or what, Viva La Bam. They need something like that with a little bit of attitude. Ride Along is great, and The Table for Three is great, but I mean, a hidden camera show.
Better if it was longer.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
Want more.
They cut it down, too. What they should do is they should have the first version of Table for Three. That's the condensed version that they show for the 30-minute or hour program. And then have an extended cut for the fans that want to dig deeper. So if you wanted to watch a 90-minute or a 2-hour version of that conversation, you had the opportunity. You're not being forced to watch it, but it's like an extra feature. You have the opportunity.
Like deleted scenes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That would be interesting if they did like a deleted scenes and had like clips from it to extend it, or just put out a 90-minute or 2-hour episode. Because they're there. That's how they're not just there for 30 minutes. They got to be there for hours to be able to clip together a 30-minute show.
Yeah. Or what I would like is if they redid the Monday Night Wars. However, instead of how they did it, go month to month. What did WWE do? What did WCW do?
Yeah, I think it would be... Now, Eric Bischoff started a podcast recently called 83 Weeks, and it's very good. I'm in the middle of his latest episode, and I haven't finished it yet because it's over 3 hours long. They talk about Chris Jericho in WCW, and holy shit, it's already, I'm like maybe not even an hour in. It's fantastic. The insight that Bischoff gives is pretty good. I know he doesn't recall a lot of things sometimes, but the answers that he gives when he does remember something is great. And he breaks it down from like the backstage perspective and his take on it. And sometimes like
right there.
So they don't break it down week by week. I thought when they announced 83 weeks, because that's the streak that WCW went on, I thought it was going to be each week they would watch Nitro and talk about it.
Great.
But so I'm with you, Ryan, with the Monday Night War thing. They could do you had an idea about put Nitro and Raw from that day on at the same time. Yeah, but air them simultaneously and give somebody a choice of what to watch?
No, I'm saying you do the same programming, except you show what WCW did in, say, January.
Yeah.
Then you do the next program of what WWE was doing in January.
All right. Now, didn't you have... Who was it one time? I thought we had a conversation where someone was like, they should show, like on the network, have Raw and Nitro from like this day in history going on at the same time, and then you have the option to watch Raw or Nitro like they were competing in the Monday Night Wars.
Oh, that'd be fun too.
I think it would be interesting if, and again, who's going to do this except for fucking nerds like me? But follow me here. Do it by almost like a choose your own adventure channel changing segment. Like when you go to start the stream, it says the opening segment on Nitro was Eric Bischoff, and then it says Raw opens up with Triple H and DX in the ring. Which channel do you want to turn to? And then you change to Triple H and you watch the opening of Triple H. When they go to commercial break, it says, okay, in the next commercial break, it's Disco Inferno against Jackie. And then on Nitro, it's Draws against Prince Albert or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And then gives you the option to change the channel. That would be kind of an interesting way to do it. It would take some programming, but it would be an interesting experience.
I just would like the whole month to month, and then the final thing of the month is have just compare and contrast the 2 episodes.
And they could do it could be like Bruce Pritchard hosts the Raw one and Bischoff hosts the Nitro one.
Yep, and you could have them both for the third.
Yeah, so it's right. Like the resolution episode is like, how did the conclusion? Who had the better month? Who had the better matches and the better ratings and the better pay-per-view? And they could even argue about it because even though somebody has a better rating, Bruce would go, well, you had a better rating, but I think we had the better show that night. And then Eric's going to be, yeah, you're full of shit. That would be, fuck, I should pitch that to Conrad Thompson. We should go on Twitter and say, because if the network's not going to do it, Conrad would do it.
The amount of TV you could get out of that would be insane.
They don't, at least not now. They did for a while. Back when WrestleMania had its 20th anniversary, like 2005-ish, there was a big nostalgia push. 2004, 2005, Hulk Hogan got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Bobby Heenan got inducted. There was a big push for that era's nostalgia. And they almost underappreciate that now, where they have retro stuff, and you can go on and buy their retro shirts, but I feel like they don't understand how good old school Raw does. They don't understand how much people appreciate seeing a DDP or a Jake the Snake or a Hulk Hogan or whoever come back and be appreciative of wrestling in general and wrestling fans. Like when Stone Cold came back and gave Vince and Shane the Stunners, it was just like old times seeing an old friend.
It's so true.
There's a market for that. If they just said, like, I know they got them and Stone Cold didn't get along for the podcast thing because he likes his uncensored podcasts and they like to be very structured. But more discussions with these guys or more programming where like Bruce and Eric arguing over who had the better show every week would be must-see television. As far as I'm concerned.
I know this would never happen, but what if you got Vince and Eric?
Oh my God.
It would never happen.
First of all, they'd have to...
like I said, it's never going to happen, but...
They would have to have somebody on standby with blood pressure medication for both of them.
That would be...
They'd both have a fucking heart attack screaming at each other.
Give me the best program. That would be it right there. Vince... Or say Triple H.
I think they need to bring back, even if they want to poke fun at some stuff. Do you remember when they had on the YouTube channel, it was Josh Matthews and somebody else, and they were in the bunker and they watched bad wrestling segments and bad matches and kind of made fun of them? I forget what it was called, but it wasn't bad. They had like, they'd play like Fantasio, who was the magician and pulled the ribbon out of his mouth and made your underwear disappear and all that shit. They would play that segment and then they'd kind of do like a Mystery Science Theater commentary behind it. What if you got like Mean Gene and Tony Schiavone or like give me some of the old WWF announcers. Not like Gorilla, but like what's the guy? Oh man, I'm picturing two guys right now. And one of them's on the radio in New York with Jade. Pettengill. Todd Pettengill, or the other guy, the other gentleman. I can't remember his name. Yeah, but so you get those guys and you have them do like Mystery Science Theater commentary over bad matches or funny segments or whatever, like the Gobbledygooker or something. I don't know. You just there's a vault of 80 years of footage.
Eric said Sean Mooney.
Sean Mooney. Thank you, Eric. God, that was going to bug me until I tried to Google it later. Sean Mooney and Tony Schiavone and Todd Pettengill, any of those guys, get them together and just have them do phony, jokey commentary and write some jokes, but let them improv. Bring in wrestlers to do commentary. Yeah, could you imagine somebody like fucking Mark Madden, who, oh God, he was terrible, but bring him in. Bring back Kevin Kelly for a little bit. Have Coach do it. God damn, Coach is useless right now. Booker T and Kevin Nash. Chet Lemon and Black Snow. Do you remember that from TNA?
I did not get to see that.
All right, there was an episode of TNA where the Main Event Mafia took over the show. It was very NWO-like.
Yeah.
But Booker T and Kevin Nash were the commentators, and their names were Chet Lemon for Kevin Nash and Black Snow for Booker T. And yeah, they just did commentary over the matches, so worth checking out. We didn't have any questions this week, Steve. We didn't have any questions.
No, I don't think any came in this week.
Well, thanks, guys.
Cat.
Well, I guess I'll remind you, if you're listening to the show and you have a question, you can use askthewarreport@gmail.com or hashtag askthewarreport and tag @tagmeadate on social media to ask a question. We pick one question every month to be a WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em entry winner, meaning that you get one free entry into the WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em for that month. So, for example, this month, you have an option. You can get the NXT TakeOver in Chicago, or you can do Money in the Bank, which is, depending on which programs you follow more, which one you think you have a better sense of who's going to win on, and you think you got the best pick'ems, pick that show. And you can use that entry to potentially win one of the wonderful prizes that WrestleRumble.com always has for their monthly pick'ems. If you don't win the WrestleRumble.com free entry, you can still sign up at WrestleRumble.com for some paid entries. As little as $5 will get you in the door. But if you want to save $5, askthewarreport@gmail.com. Send in your questions or comments. How's the how are we doing regarding, we're going to talk some shop now for Tag Me a Date. How is everything coming along with our app situation?
Apps are coming along. We will have the Apple version ready for testing us. Like, we will actually be able to go through and test it very, very shortly. And Android's pretty much a wrap. And then it's just the announcement of when we're officially releasing them. But they are coming, and they're coming very soon.
That's pretty great. So already the website, tagmeadate.com, is a mobile compatible website. You can just bookmark it on your phone and you can access it. Free registration at tagmeadate.com. So it'll all, it works fine on your browser, Safari or Internet Explorer, whatever you're using. But we have optimized the experience into some apps for both iPhone and Android. So you will not be left out no matter which camp you subscribe to. And it's still going to be free. We will be eventually releasing some premium options for premium users. But again, that's an option for you down the line. But sign up now while it's free. Tagmeadate.com is the only dating site for wrestling fans. And you can search by your favorite pay-per-view or your favorite wrestler. And lots of other parameters for wrestling that you can search by. You can also search by location. That's pretty important to find someone in your area or an area maybe you're traveling to or moving to. Type in that location and see who you can find. And you can upload a video or a picture for your profile. That's pretty unique because even though Facebook does it now and you can use like GIFs or you can use short video clips, we kind of innovated that. I never heard of another social media or dating site that allowed you to upload a profile video as early as 2015. We were doing it 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So
old VHS trading.
Yeah, so I mean we've been around a while. We've been building this brand, building this site. We've got a lot of users, and we just want to attract more users. So give it a shot because it is free. Like, that's the beauty of it, right? Right now it's free. And as I said, premium options coming soon. But a lot of good things are coming our way for Tag Me a Date. I'm excited to see what's going to happen going forward, because maybe if you guys get us popular enough and get us enough users, maybe we can get on Shark Tank, and then Mark Cuban can buy us.
Amen.
That would be the. I've watched some episodes. I don't watch Shark Tank very, very often.
Oh, I love Shark Tank. Great show.
But when I watch it, I don't ever think to go searching for Shark Tank. When it's on, I'm like, oh, Shark Tank's on. So I saw one where a guy tried to sell an app, and it didn't go well he just didn't have the user base. He didn't have the knowledge of his product. He didn't do as well as he should have, because he had a pretty decent app. It was like a secret messaging app, I believe it was, where you could it looked like just like a file folder on your phone, like a regular app, like a different app altogether, but you could access it and send messages, and it was meant for like law enforcement. That was his intent. But then one of the sharks was like, well, you could use this as like, you know, a secret texting app for like you're texting your crush, or you're texting somebody you cheat on, whatever it is, you know. Or no, it was the other way around. His app was designed for cheaters to send secret text messages, and the shark said, why don't you do it for law enforcement who are undercover, or like people who are computer experts, IT experts that want to send secure messages and not have somebody poking around their phone.
Right.
Makes sense.
And they flipped the idea, but I think he just wanted to keep his concept. I don't think it, as far as I remember, he didn't proceed. But there's a market. People are bringing apps. It surprised me because I've seen so many physical objects for sale on Shark Tank or for you know up for consideration. I didn't think that apps would be viable, but now they're accepting apps and websites. So there's definitely opportunity there. So you never know. We could be rocking with Cuban on some big fucking boat somewhere. Sign up for Tag Me a Date and help us out. Any other notes or wrestling things for us to discuss in the last 2 minutes before we go here?
I actually think we covered every big topic leading into tonight's Smackdown.
What was that?
Oh, I said one thing for next week. Jericho possible involvement with TNA.
Oh yeah, Sami Callihan is basically invited on the Jericho cruise. So we'll see if that is just a Jericho cruise thing, or if Jericho actually shows up on Impact, because he's wrestling this weekend. Actually, he's wrestling Naito in New Japan. So Jericho Naito is going to blow the fucking roof off the place, and it's going to be a great match. But we'll see what the rest of the summer and then fall brings, because the Jericho cruise isn't until Halloween weekend.
And Eric has a request and show the video.
Yeah, I saw that. It's awesome.
Oh, is this the one where he? Oh, yeah. So if you haven't seen this yet, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. It deserves way more praise than I think people are giving it, or way more notoriety. And I know it's been shared and it's a GIF now and everything, but where is it? Dave Bautista, some meatloaf.
It was just very badass.
Yeah, this is who I'm going to load this up and then screen share. We'll see here. All right, so here we go. Who does that?
Ricochet.
Yeah, he's the only one that can do that. That's wonderful and sensual. Oh, and Dijak wrestled him before that. So welcome to the main NXT roster, Dijak.
Yeah, I'm surprised though that Dijak, his first time out, he loses. I mean, not that I'd expect him to beat Ricochet, but
right, it's not his final form. Right now he's Chris Dijak, NXT trainee. When they give him a gimmick and they give him the all the stuff that's in line with it, like actually debuting on the roster and video packages and shit, he's gonna be made. He's fine. Losing to Ricochet is not gonna. I mean, if he went out there and lost to, I don't know, Ellsworth or something. Yeah, sure, but he lost to one of the best, so can't be mad about that.
I'm not. I was just.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's like one of those things where you think, why is he losing? But he hasn't debuted, so you almost can't count it. It's almost like it when he actually debuts and they put up video packages and shit for him. You're not even gonna remember this match happened.
That's true.
So
yeah, the whole flip over.
Yeah, that overshadows whatever happened in the match. That's insanity. How did it leaves you speechless? Who thought of it? How many times did he practice it? How did he know he could land it? Yeah. It's live in front of an audience. If he breaks his ass, he's fucked.
Or Paul Goldberg can fall over the top.
Yeah, like that's it. He could fuck himself up. He could have fucked his whole push-up right there, and he nailed it. So, shit. Well, SmackDown's about to start.
Yes, it is.
We'll wrap up for this evening. You've watched the War Report podcast brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. With over 80,000 superstars and divas on our roster, you too can find your tag team partner on TagMeADate.com. Upload your profile picture or a profile promo video. Enjoy our Facebook-like messaging system and find your match by favorite wrestler, favorite pay-per-view, favorite tag team, or search by location. And if you enjoy listening to the War Report podcast, we're live every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. Adjust your clocks accordingly. If you want to keep up with the War Report, you go to youtube.com, type Tag Me a Date with no spaces in the search bar, Tag Me a Date, squish it all together. You'll find the Tag Me a Date channel where you can subscribe, and also please hit the bell. That's the best way to know when we go live or upload a video. The bell will send notifications to your mobile device. Otherwise, you can just check out youtube.com and again search for Tag Me a Date and find our channel to see our archive of previous shows, or to tune in live next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. So be sure to follow Tag Me a Date on social media, and again, that's at Tag Me a Date with no spaces. And we'll see you next week right here, 7 p.m. on the War Report. Thank you guys for watching.